Yes, welcome everyone. It was really nice to come to this place where I haven't been before, New York, and this and meet people I feel connected with. And some of you I've seen now, I don't know, 2 years or something like that. So it's really nice to feel that. I mean, I'm taller than you expected, but otherwise, there's already some friendship and some genuine welcoming and just yeah, and I mean, friendship, that's something to live for, right? That's yeah. And also, you know, the online, some of you, if you are in New York, why are you not here? I mean, of course, Boulder is too far, yeah, but so on Thursday, when if you are in New York, come here, so I can feel you better. Oh, there's even Mikkel from Denmark. Great. So that's great. Yeah, I'm sorry that I talk like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but someone told me that's not necessarily a bad thing. There could be more difficult association than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. My English is good enough for Denmark, but here it's yeah, so the topic is Bodhicitta, and my idea is not to repeat teachings you have heard before, but just share some invitations and reflections around Bodhicitta. And I like the word love. So One symbol for Bodhicitta is a jewel with many colors. And it's also called the wish-fulfilling jewel. And the Buddha of compassion, Shenrezig, if there's an image you probably, so he has in his folded hand in front of his heart, he has this jewel, this wish-fulfilling jewel. And I think it's understandable why it's called wish-fulfilling. What is more fulfilling what you really long for than love? To love and be loved. So the wish-fulfilling jewel is not giving you a Tesla or something like that, but it's pointing to that which is probably for, if we reflect upon, particularly when we consider that we are going to die soon, what is this life about? What is actually what I deeply long for and need? And what does make my life meaningful? Then probably we will all answer something with love. You can't hear me? Okay, maybe you can come a bit closer. Yeah. And I can try to talk a bit louder.
Thank you.
So, and one thing I would want to bring into this evening and into the first meditation is exploring the question, actually, how does it feel when we connect with Bodhicitta? What's the feeling tone? What's the experience? Because that they don't talk so much about that in the Tibetan tradition. It sounds more like something conceptual, like if you would ask a Lama, what is Bodhicitta? They maybe would say something, yeah, it's the wish to wake up for the benefit of all. But that's a thought. And obviously, just saying these words and putting it into a prayer, that is not Bodhicitta. So there needs to be like a felt sense experience in your body. And Bodhicitta has many colors, so it's a jewel. It's not just one thing. Love has many different flavors, many different kinds of colors, energetically also different. And in our first meditation, I would like to invite you into an experience of that in a very simple way, by calling upon people you feel warmth and care and love for. That's not Bodhicitta in the traditional sense. Bodhicitta is more, but definitely Bodhicitta has something to do with tenderness and warmth. Feel the warmth in your heart. And it's not an emotion. It's something more profound. And in the tantric teachings, we learn that that compassion, love, empathy, tenderness, that these are functions, movements in our emotional body, in our energy body, in our subtle body. And we can feel that if you tune into that. So it's a bit more than just feeling the sensations in your body. It's something more subtle, something we can't really localize. It's more a mystery. And I would want to invite you a bit into a felt experience of that. Maybe just starting in this moment with what I talked about, this sense of friendship, being in the Sangha. And now feeling me in a different way than you felt in the Zoom meetings. And also this room. So we have the presence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. How does it feel? What does it do with your And I maybe some of you online, you know this place. And also you are at home, you are still here with us. So you can tune in into this field. Okay, so let's take a few moments to just settle in a posture which supports you. And if you like, you can close your eyes. And you allow your awareness or your attention to shift from the head into the body. Even down into your legs and feet. And the flow of the in and out breath supports you in this little journey into the presence of your body, into the aliveness of your body. And the most important thing here is to, as best as you can, to welcome, embrace your inner life as it is, your experience as it is. So allow yourself to be a good friend to yourself. A good friend to your inner life as it is. So if there's some tiredness or some leftovers from the day or some nervousness, some dissatisfaction, some physical or emotional contraction. So let's explore together as human beings with feelings, what happens when we just feel what we feel, just notice what we notice, softening and opening. How's your belly? Maybe it can soften a little. How's your shoulders? Maybe there can also be a bit of a letting go. So shifting from the doing, busyness, the trying to get somewhere, to just being here. Just being. And in a dialogue will continue. So the narrative self will continue to comment and come up with all kinds of stuff. But it's always possible to not so much look there, not too much, don't listen so much to that. Instead, you slide or drop into the felt sense of your body, your hands, your belly, the movement of the breath. And then when you find yourself entangled, you make this little gentle gesture back into present moment awareness. Softening and opening. And then I invite you more consciously to step into the sacred space of the Shantideva Center. Together with the people who participate online, because the sacred space of the Shantideva Center is it's not just here in this room. And we are here together as Sangha. Helping each other, supporting, practicing together in this moment, being together. And in that sacred space of the Shantideva Center, we are protected by the teachings of the Buddha, by the presence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and by the presence of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So this sacred space is a safe space. You can relax. You can really relax because it's a healing space. So breathing, present moment awareness. And returning dropping back. Thoughts are recognized as thoughts. It's fine that they are happening, but they are not important here in this moment. So now I like to invite you to bring to mind, to heart, a person, or also a few persons, which you have a warm relationship with. Something you care about, someone you care about. Could be also a pet. And then open to this warmth. To the care. How does it feel to contribute to the happiness of this person? Does it feel to see each other after some time of separation? How does it feel to enjoy time together? So you stay with the aliveness of your body, the breath as a kind of anchor. But the question is, or the invitation is to be curious about how and where do I feel the tenderness, the warmth? And you can't, it's not about forcing anything to happen. So take it easy. It's just a curiosity here. And we are not looking for something dramatic, something big. It can be quite subtle. And where do you feel friendship? How does it feel? And let yourself be surprised. Maybe you have an idea like it should be in the heart or it should feel in a certain way. But how does it feel in this moment now? It's just this moment. Maybe you can feel it in your hands, in your belly. Maybe it's more in your eyes or in your mouth. Maybe it's more like something even surrounding you. And you breathe with that, very, very open and relaxed. And if you get distracted by some commentary, just return to the person. Try also maybe a different person. Just kind of bring it to the foreground. make it a bit stronger by tuning in. And then become aware that we are doing this together. Every one of us, yes, everyone now here, and together with the online people. There's 18 people online. So just appreciate that we are touching something of common humanity. It's something, a capacity we all have. Everyone. So beautiful. It makes you proud to be a human. That we all have this indestructible, uncorruptible capacity to love someone. And when you touch that in you, even if it's just like something fine, something subtle, something you can't really localize, every time you touch it, it is immediately shared with the people around you. And maybe you can emphasize that a little by just feeling or saying to yourself that each touching of friendship, of warmth, of love within me right now, I do that for the people around me. And touching the light within me, the light of love, because I want to bring this into the world. And I'm doing it right now. So the friendship, the warmth, the love you feel to one person is actually like a gate into being able to share this with right now in this situation, in this group, with the people who sit in front of you, behind you, and with the people who are attending online. So we kind of increase the frequency of love within the group. A field. It's a field. It's a giving and receiving at the same time. And you can alternate it a bit with the breath in a light way, but with the in-breath, a bit with the receiving, from the others who are in this frequency now. They connect with the same, the love frequency, Bodhichitta. So with the in-breath, the receiving, and then with the out-breath, the giving. A good soundtrack. And returning. Turning, resting. Present moment awareness. Bathing. Receiving. And giving. And whatever contraction you feel, any discomfort is surrounded and is being held by the love we share with each other from heart to heart. So I would like to suggest like a practice for daily life regarding this. And then we have a little break. So first, there is there's like two different approaches to Bodhicitta. And one is it's something we develop. It's like it's something we train. You know, there's the steps. It's like the progressive path, developmental view on spirituality, and that makes sense. The Lamrim teachings, the graduate path teachings, of course, they make sense, and it makes sense to see Bodhicitta as something we develop. But I really love the attitude which, or the approach to this from Lama Yeshe, where in his book Introduction to Tantra, where he in the first chapter says something like, we have this sun of wisdom and compassion, sometimes also called Buddha nature or ultimate Bodhicitta. And then he says, and the spiritual path is an uncovering of that which is already there, in making contact and uncovering with that which is already there. So that's called the direct path. Yeah. So it's discovering, uncovering, healing that which we have built up in our life to protect that softness, that vulnerability. Removing the clouds from the sky. So in that view, we would see Bodhicitta as something innate. It's really New York. It's exactly what I hear when I hear online teachings in New York. Yeah? It's exactly that sound. It's wonderful. I was a paramedic for a few years, yeah. So I really appreciate these guys because I was one of them. And they are driving now to someone who needs help. Yeah? So. I love New York. Yeah. So this uncovery, of something which is innate, indestructible, uncorruptible. Isn't it true that that capacity to look after each other seems to be indestructible? It's everywhere. It didn't die in concentration camps. And if things gets more tough in the future, one reason for coming to this place here is you make sure that you stay a good person, a caring person, looking after each other. Because when resources get scarce, of course, then it's more difficult to be a generous person when there's not enough food. So it's really important because difficult times come that we really commit to love, to commit to the heart. Insist on that. There is one Tibetan word I got it from one of the books of Tsiga Kongtrul Rinpoche. It's called Seva, T-S-I-W-A, Seva, and he translates it as tenderness. But what he says in his book that the word Seva refers exactly to what I try to point out in our meditation. Is like the felt sense of, and I'm kind of putting love, compassion, empathy, and sympathy and taking care like into one jewel. Yeah, I mean, I know there's different definitions, you know, like that is love and that is compassion, but for me it's somehow talking about the same, like it's talking about the human capacity of the heart. Yeah. And, you know, if you know all the definitions and you have read 3 books about compassion and what it does with the brain, that doesn't mean at all that you know what compassion is. Because it's not something you can do may all beings be happy for the rest of your life if you don't feel anything, if it doesn't shift something in your heart, in your energy. Then it's just maybe there's still some benefit to say good words into the world. Yeah. So if we assume that this, and it is the case, if you look into your life, being touched, feeling care, wanting to reach out, wanting to help someone, it's happening already in your life. Yeah. And a beautiful practice for daily life is to become what I sometimes call a seva detective. Yeah. So to be really, to make it like a to make it a, to make it a, I don't like the word mindfulness practice so much, but heartfulness practice, to make it a heartfulness practice, to have a moment of appreciation, to have a moment of rejoicing, or to have a moment of noticing, just noticing, wow, that was a movement of my heart. I was touched. That was a bit of care. I wanted to reach out. There was a moment of kindness, either from your side giving it, but also receiving it. And I can tell you, I mean, these guys, you can't, who are driving this car. I mean, they trained for helping others. They choose this job because they really want to make a difference and they want to help people. They don't do it. They didn't choose this job for money. And so, if you walk through New York, you see so much kindness. I mean, I could also walk through New York and see all the things which should be different, yeah. But it's, I'm not denying the things which the other things, but what do you want to pay attention to? So you become a seva detective by appreciating these moments, pausing and feeling it. And if you appreciate that, and if you notice it, and you kind of reinforce it a bit through, this is a beautiful thing in me. Wow, my heart is moving, I'm touched. I want to actually reach out. I don't know how to help this person, but I wish this person well. Then you kind of get that heart muscle, warmth, tenderness muscle in your emotional body moving. Yeah. Then use Netflix also. Be curious about the different colors, the different flavors of the movements of your heart. And appreciate it. And then see it in others. See this capacity in others. This practice, personally for me, is much more efficient. I don't know. It helped me more than any kind of May all beings be happy in loving kindness meditation. I'm a bit jet lagged, so. But it's always good to take a bit of breaks when you listen to a lecture, when you listen to someone talking and being in this room, to kind of feel into it. What does it do with you, what I say? And everything is allowed. So I'm not saying that you need to like what I'm saying, but take this time in a room like this, not only for trying to get some conceptual knowledge, but to feel yourself and to feel the situation and to appreciate, to be here and breathe with it. And because in the end, Bodhicitta will stay a mystery. Yeah? Is there any questions or comments about what I said? Online, you can just unmute yourself.
Stephen, I appreciate very much what you're saying, and it helps to lighten me, because I find the world very heavy if I focus on the news particularly. And in my heart of hearts, I do try to cultivate what you're saying and to continuously remember that everyone I come in contact with is in fact a potential bodhicitta, a divine being, and recognize that. And that keeps me going. So thank you.
Yes. Mm. Yeah, and even if no, I mean, most of the people I met in the shops here, they were kind.
Yep.
That was easy. But then there
Yep.
were also grumpy people. Yeah. But even that, because you are also grumpy sometimes. I'm grumpy sometimes. And what is behind grumpiness is pain. Yeah. So even a grumpy person can be like a tseva sauce, yeah, because you appreciate the capacity of your own heart, the indestructible capacity to love, to feel friendship, to take care of others, and then you start to appreciate, you start to have the faith or the trust that this is also in the other person. You can see it. You kind of look through the facade of grumpiness or aggression even. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, can you talk a little bit more about maybe? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for this. But can you talk a little bit more about when you talk about flavors and qualities? Just a little bit more. Like encounter different people and different.
Yeah.
or opening for this one or for that one.
Yeah, yeah. And as you say, it's like when I go to the playground and I observe the children, there's something. It feels a bit different than, it's a different flavor of that jewel than if I take care of a dog. So it's just this landscape of the different movements of my heart to see these different movements as something precious, something beautiful, something to, like a melody, something to listen to, something to tune into. I love it. I mean, I love. I really appreciate when I'm, for example, when I watch a movie and something, I know tears come and of course that's not bodhicitta, but it's part of the jewel. Yeah. Yes.
I'm thinking about what you were saying, describing the direct path and removing the clouds from the sky.
Yeah.
And I also have been thinking a lot lately about exile. Now I feel myself often exiling certain parts of myself. And so I wonder if you could speak a little bit to how we can remove the clouds without exiling them.
Yeah.
And treating them also with care.
Yeah. That was something else I wanted to talk about. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, so that's exploring how to heal the parts in us which are wounded, which are insecure, which have been hurt. And that's such an important thing, because any kind of bodhicitta, any kind of compassion, which is like trying to avoid these parts, like kind of jumping over them, like no, let's say you help other people because you actually feel not good enough. That's why you help other people. Yeah. Or you help other people because, yeah, you wanted to be good as a little girl because otherwise your dad wouldn't love you. Yeah. So all this kind of wounds, hurts, rejections, maybe one can kind of summarize this with the sense of I'm unworthy, what Tara Brach calls the trance of unworthiness. It's also called the narcissistic wound. Yeah. The attempt to develop bodhicitta on the foundation of a narcissistic wound is just crazy. Of course that doesn't work. Then this may I benefit all sentient beings, it's just words. It's just it's not felt. It doesn't come from fullness. It doesn't come from so that's, I think, for me, one of the most important questions. And of course, in the Tibetan tradition, they don't talk about that. And that's why bodhicitta practice doesn't work for most people. Because the traditional teachings, they are not put, and they are not addressing our Western condition. Yeah, And then that's so frustrating. I mean, you do all the like 7 steps and you do, yeah, like kindness of the mother or something, but nothing moves in you because you need to do like something before that. And I'm very sorry to say, I would, I mean, if I could do it for you, then I would do it. And I have really deeply thought about this. So it's not something I say lightly. But what you want to heal, you need to feel. And that's terrifying. That's really, really terrifying. So and unfortunately, of course, we can use loving kindness meditation and things like that actually to try exactly not to do that. Yeah. So what is it? And I like to call them parts, or so. But what is it? What is it in you which you feel as like a protective field, or like a fear, a mistrust, like what is it in you? Yeah? So that's important to, I think, important to find out, and then learn some techniques, Tonglen, if you want to stay in a traditional way, learn how to practice Tonglen with yourself. If you want to stay more in a tradition, you can look into feeding the demon practice. So it's all so different and then, but it's also so helpful to learn a practice like focusing, or where focusing, it's a Western kind of therapeutic intervention, but that doesn't matter. So the idea is to become aware and to be curious and to cultivate a loving awareness, a loving moving towards that which is hurting you. A bit like no, I kind of mentioned it a little in our guided meditation when I said, so like cultivating that field, and then breathing in towards what you feel discomfort, restlessness, tiredness. So to bring that loving attention to that part of your experience which needs loving attention, which needs healing. So in other words, I could say, I think, and I'm exploring this. So don't take my words here as something, you can something you can build upon. But I think for genuine Bodhicitta to arise, to come through, yeah, to come through, we need to do some serious healing, and healing needs to touch what hurts, to feel your feelings. The only way out is through what you want to heal. You need to feel, and when you do that, of course, I mean, your heart wants to shine. In all of us, our heart wants to shine. We are here to bring love into the world. And okay, so let's have a break, 10 minutes, just to stretch a little. And then I will lead another meditation.
You want to try the mic? Or no?
No, it's okay. I don't say so many important things.
I'm sure they can.
Can you hear me online? Yeah, okay. So I think one way to tune in into Bodhicitta more intuitively is to connect with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And I want to lead a little meditation around that. Because we have this capacity to kind of walk in the shoes of another person, to kind of feel how it is. And so His Holiness, I guess some of you have met him or you know about him, but if His Holiness is not so much you don't feel so connected with him, please then choose something else. Yeah, so it's fine to do this with Jesus or with another. It doesn't need to be a Buddhist teacher. It can be something else. So it's more important that in this kind of practices that it means something to you instead of trying to force an experience with something which is not where you are not connected with. So, but I will take His Holiness the Dalai Lama as an example. And one important ingredient in this jewel of Bodhicitta is that you have a vision of wholeness, a vision of awakening. Yeah. And then if Bodhicitta is born, that vision of wholeness actually becomes the most important thing in your life. To have that as your compass, as your North Star. That awakening of your heart is not something which is only for Tibetan man or something like that. But that we all have this capacity, and we not even only have the capacity, we have a life supporting that opportunity to bring forth the essence love of your heart into your life. So, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama is a human being, just like us. And he is, for many, the best example of what it means to embody Bodhicitta as a human being. I mean, if we would just read about it in books and we would have like an idea, that's a completely different thing than meeting a person who is embodying Bodhicitta. So if we tune in into His Holiness the Dalai Lama, kind of a guru yoga, it's called tradition. So let's take our seat as a Sangha again. So you take your time to adjust your posture and shifting from the head into the body. Yeah. And bring the energy of the break. Oh, you talked and there was this joy of meeting others. So bring this into this meeting. Don't leave it behind. Just bring it with you in this moment. Just enjoy being here. The breath. Thoughts become less important. Just appreciating a moment of aliveness, hearing, feeling. It's such a, we are so fortunate to be in this Bodhichitta sacred Shantideva place, in the mandala of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Can you feel that in your own way? Just being here is enough. So, and now I call upon His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And he is stepping into this sacred space, into this temple, into this compound. And you can hear him. You hear him moving. You hear him laughing. You hear his voice. And you look into his eyes. And he looks at you. You don't need to have a clear mental images. But maybe there's some images. The more important is to feel in your whole body, from the toes to the top of your head, how it is to be in the presence of essence love, of unconditional love. There is even a scent of love. And you bathing in that, like you would bathe in the sun. Maybe you did that today, somewhere on a bench, just bathing in the sun. So in the same way now we bathe in the sun of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And you don't need to do a lot, it's more receiving. Maybe you feel how it is to hold the hand of His Holiness. Feel the vitality, the joy, the courage, the tenderness, the love, the healing. Softening and opening. Every cell of your body opens like a flower. How does it feel to be yourself? Because obviously you can't hide in front of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He looks right through you. All our games, they are just looked through immediately. He doesn't play games. So how does it feel to be there naked, just yourself as you are, and feel completely loved and accepted and held? With all your struggle, with all your pain, and with all your joy and laughter and love. So you soften into that. And if there's something contracted, something painful, you put it into the lap, into the hand of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Stay a little. The eyes of His Holiness, the smile. Maybe holding His hand. The scent. So now this His Holiness, the image, the projection dissolves into the light, into essence love, into Bodhichitta, and it fills your whole body. And you become aware of the Buddha within. the Dalai Lama within. The heart opens like a flower. And from the Dalai Lama within, from the Buddha within, Bodhicitta radiates into your whole body. And then through the pores of your body into your surroundings. First here from heart to heart, from Buddha to Buddha. And then also to the online people. And for a few moments, just resting. Is it 7:30? No, huh? 8:30, okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm more affected by the jet lag than I thought. It's like middle of the night for my system. So I'm not tired, but I feel like a bit like hazy, dreamlike. Yeah, is there any question? Anything? About Bodhicitta? Do you remember what I wanted to talk about? No. I had some ideas this afternoon. Yeah, just open your heart. Yeah. Just open your heart.
What was it you said at the end?
At the end,
Yeah.
Which end?
That's the last thing you said. For some reason, it caused that feeling to go out. But what was it you said?
After the meditation?
No, at the end. of
In the
meditation.
meditation?
In the meditation. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I don't remember.
With something you said made just spread that feeling. I
Yeah.
don't know what it was. that you
Okay.
said.
You had an experience of spreading.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I was trying to recall
Yeah. Yeah.
how to help me to spread it in the future.
Yeah. 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 So the meditation was His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and what I just say something. I guess I will say something to your question also. But His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and what for me is so important in that way I'll guide this meditation is to make it like an experience. So that's why I use seeing, feeling, tasting, smelling, yeah, touching, so that it becomes an experience. That it is not a visualization. In the sadhanas, they sometimes say visualize. It's not a visual. It's not a visualization. It's nothing. It's nothing. Just it's not about the image. So. And there's for different people different. I mean, for some people, it's like just to imagine, like feel how it would be if His Holiness now comes into this room and he steps behind you and he puts his hand onto your shoulders. Yeah. That's a completely different thing than like, or visualize Tara in front of you. So to make that. And then this possibility of allowing some healing to happen. So you really bring what is on your heart in that moment. You bring that into the practice, and you receive healing. You allow His Holiness with His loving gaze, with His energy, and while you're doing this, you stay aware that this is a projection. You're working with a projection. It's not that you call His Holiness as a person into your room. You're working with a projection. When you work with a teacher, you always work with a projection. And what do you project into His Holiness is your Buddha nature, your own goodness. What you see in His Holiness, what you feel you receive from His Holiness, is actually your own. It's the inner Dalai Lama. So it's not like that someone outside helps you or comes and helps you. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is a mirror of your own true nature. And the kindness you see in him, and the compassion you see in him is your own. By the way, if you see something ugly in another person, it's also your own. So, but let's stay with His Holiness. And then there's the solution. So that's where this projection goes back to where it comes from, your own heart. And then there's this time of getting there by being there. Yeah, getting there by being there. So you feel how it is to have the inner Buddha, and usually I use also Tara, then I say the goddess, in case it's a bit easier to connect with that than it's just words. The Buddha is not male or female, but for some women, I think it's easier to connect with. when I use the goddess or Tara or the feminine awakened. So, and then you just feel how it is to be His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to be Tara. And then there was this sharing. So you share from heart to heart. You connect from the Buddha within to the Buddha within, from the Tara within to the Tara within. So you see the Buddha nature in the other person, and it comes back to you. You see, you project. You like if I connect with my inner Tara and then I look at you and I see the inner Tara, then I'm loved by Tara through you. Maybe that was the end. Yes.
I was thinking about a sadness, a disappointment, and I had some difficulty. I was thinking about a sadness and a disappointment that I wanted to help heal, but I had some difficulty at the same time feeling it and letting His Holiness heal me. I felt a little bit wobbly, trying to figure out how to experience that.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. And what happened then? So you feel wobbly and then
It was distracting, so I
Yeah.
didn't really feel it or feel the healing. I just
uh-huh.
felt like I was in somewhere.
Yeah. So feeling the sadness made it difficult for you to receive the healing.
Right, exactly.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to think about it. Thank you for the
share similar
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Maybe that'll.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was picturing the moment where you had us sensate the eye gaze.
Mm.
And I don't remember exactly what you said, but he's something around fully like a sense that there's a full embrace acceptance from His Holiness.
Mm.
And then I had the thought, all of it? Like even the stuff I've done, like the sadness, the aggression, the whatever, then laundry list. And then I was like, okay, even that. And I think in that when I don't know what happened in the gap between really and okay, but I think there was something on the side of the really that was the like splitting thing that can happen, like, it's all supposed to feel good if I'm doing something spiritual. It's supposed to be pure. It's not muddy, and then not buying that. Something, things you said, things other people recently have said to me, got me out of that habit. I also thought about the lotus coming out of the mud. That was helpful too.
Yes.
Hi, Linda, thank you. I found this very helpful. I practice in the Chan tradition, so Bodhichitta isn't really spoken about explicitly.
Yeah.
And we talk about compassion, but we don't emphasize it quite the way that you do. So one of the things I found very helpful was when you talked about feeling little things, feeling whatever's happening. Because one of the things that's an impediment in practice, generally speaking, is if you have an all or nothing attitude.
Yeah, yes.
So in other words, if I don't feel it the way that I envisaged it,
Yeah.
that's what I'm envisaging it, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, but that's it's a nice path that you have shown.
Yeah.
And I also found the Dalai Lama very helpful. I once did shake his hand years ago, and I guess it still resonates. And then just one other thing that you made me think of, I'm a docent at the Rugen Museum.
A what?
Docent, someone who gives tours at the Buddhist Museum.
Yeah. That's the one place I want to see.
So,
Yeah.
once I was doing a tour to second graders, little kids, and we saw the statue of Dengze Chen. Dengze Chen, Dharmapala. And I was showing the statue, and the second grader looked at me and said, "Where's Dengze Chen?" Right now. Right. It's like, where is Avalokiteshvara? Right now.
Yeah. Yes.
And, of course, it is, I think, as you've shown, it's right now, it's right here. So I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So let's finish with some sitting quietly together. It's so precious to have the opportunity. So how do you feel? How is it for you to be here in this moment? And so not so much a question about words, but an invitation to feel into the felt sense of your body, into your inner life as it is. Present moment awareness. Past exists only in thoughts, the future exists only in thoughts. And in this moment, you have everything available to be in peace. By allowing this moment to be what it is already. And of course, there's thoughts, and there's probably some level of suffering also in your inner lives, and tiredness or but isn't there also peace? Isn't there also like a spaciousness? And even if there's like the noises from outside, the sounds from outside, isn't there also a stillness? It's a spaciousness, vastness, stillness, which is surrounding and pervading. And maybe there could be, for you in this moment, even a taste of goodness in that stillness, a taste of love. A taste of light. And just let's rest here for a moment. Today is full moon. New moon. Yeah, not full moon, new moon. So it's a good moment to tune into what you want to experience in this month. So, and then at the end of this evening, we share that quiet goodness with each other, and then into our surroundings here, and the people online into the surroundings where they are. So that this moment is a source for peace, a source for healing. And then when we go home, we bring that with us into the city. And maybe you want to include specific people, just inviting them into this space, into the light, into the healing. Bodhichitta, the wish-fulfilling jewel, the ultimate medicine. May all beings be happy. And may people everywhere look after each other. Also the animals. May people everywhere look after each other. May all beings be happy. Thank you so much. Namaste, yes, right.
Thank you, Stephan.
Enjoy to be here. And on Thursday, I will be a bit more clear. Yeah. So, but I really thank you so much for your kind attention and for coming here this evening. So I really appreciate that. And you also online. Thank you. See you on Tuesday. That's it.